I'm Trio. Welcome to You've Got This, Sis. I believe there are times we need a sis to see us for who we are, where we are, exactly how we are, and then see all that we can be. The sis that can do that with each of us is a real treasure. I've had my moments, sis. I realize that our connections to one another are absolutely gold. I know there are times that we journey solo, and there are times we journey with others. Both are completely necessary for our growth and increased strength as women. You are here with me, and I am here with you. And we will journey wherever you are now to your best self, always. Welcome to You've Got This, Sis. Hey there, December is just flying by, and before we know it, we're going to be through the holiday season and celebrating the new year. But before we do, I want to take a minute to talk about something that's been on my heart for the past few weeks, and I want to share it with you because I love the idea. I've always felt like I've been a pretty perceptive person, that I'm a pretty good judge of character, and having said that, I'm going to break that down in a few. But I want to think about the idea. I first heard it in Scripture. And so while I'm not going to preach to you, the idea is that by their fruits shall ye know them. And that idea to me means that by others' actions will you be able to determine their heart. And I think about that a lot. I think about, well, is what I'm doing and how people perceive me by the things that they see me do in alignment with who I want to become and who I aim to be? And I have to say that I have come a really long way. I'm a recovering people pleaser, for sure. In my youth, I was really trying to figure out who the heck I was. And I actually would just kind of morph into whoever people needed me to be, which is in no way what anybody should do. But it was part of my growing and learning about myself and figuring out my own identity and who I truly am. And I actually learned a lot from those times. And I wouldn't say that I would ever want to go back there. And sometimes I am still fighting to stay where I am because that's kind of, once a habit is formed, it's always there, and it's easy to fall back into those habits or those trends or those relationships of how people interacted with you or how they thought that you were. And so change is inevitable. All of us will change. And I am able to see the change in myself, as I think we all are. But sometimes it's more difficult for me to see change in others, even though they may be working on their own personal growth and self-development. And so always maintaining this idea of needing to have an open mind, open heart, open arms, to allow myself to grow, to allow myself to become better, to allow myself to forgive my own stupidities, to allow myself to then become the person that I want to be while still holding space and having open arms and having grace and forgiveness for others. Now, that's not to say that I am a person who is just, I just forgive and forget. I'm not that way. I really am about the actions that show me where somebody is and what their intents are. And for me, that's how I try to speak to others too. My actions are, I hope, reflecting love and caring and strength, passion, compassion, inspiration. Like, that's who I want to become. That's who I hope I am reflecting at this time. And I want to encourage each of you that are listening to also follow along the path of those things that are really at your core. And if you're not sure what those are, it's okay, because just like I told you, I, in a way, went through a whole sifting process, the journey of my youth and journey of my young adulthood, and really even as a newlywed, and trying to figure out, where I belonged and who I truly was. It didn't just happen overnight, but eventually I was able to really think about those things that bring me joy. You guys, I love to paint. I'm a very creative person. Whether I'm painting my house, decorating my house, or painting a portrait or watercolor or whatever it is, an ornament, those things bring me joy. It's my creative mode. It allows me to just be for a few minutes. I love to read. I love good books. So if you have any out there, I'd love to know what your favorite book of the year has been, or what book you would recommend to me to read and why. I love great music. I usually am going to find a piece of music that has a message in it, because that speaks to my heart, and music really fills me. I am an animal lover. I love animals. Not necessarily small rodent type animals, but I love bigger, more cuddly, kind of bigger animals. That's my speed. But I absolutely feel that, just like I mentioned, I love animals, that the animals can sense our emotions, that oftentimes that's why they become therapy dogs, because they're able to sense the emotions of the person. Horses do this as well. They reflect the emotions of the person that is with them. And so when I was learning to ride, if I was scared or afraid, the horse would sense that. And then the horse would be the one in charge or in control, in the power seat. And life is sort of like that too. If we are not directing our own life, our own day, then other things and other people are going to drive that for us. And it's nothing to be afraid of. It's something to be aware of, because if you're allowing other people to drive your day or those things that are important to you, then you're filling their cup and not your own. You're filling their core. You're not filling yours. And as much as we can all work together for common goals and things like that, it's really important, because we're each so different, that we also take the time to sift through and find those things that are important to us, and then hold them close. Hold them close and hold them dear, and take really good care of those things that make you who you are. And it's so many different things. So many different things that are wonderful and amazing about each of us. But they're things that don't need to be shadowed by someone else or somebody else's importance. It's important to you. And if it's important to you, then it should be important to other people as well. And then there's this idea of, I mentioned being a good judge of character. I hesitate to say that because I don't like the word judgment, but by all means, we were given judgment, not necessarily to judge each other. Let's get clear about that. The judgment is actually to help keep us safe. As human beings, we need to be able to judge the things that are going to hurt us and the things that are going to help us. As in a hot stove, you need to be able to judge that that's hot and not to place your hand on it, versus when it's cold and not going to hurt you. Same thing with being able to recognize changes in the weather, right? Judging if there is a dark cloud outside and the wind is picking up. Should I go on a bike ride now? Probably not. Using judgment in that way is healthy. It's keeping you safe. It's what we're supposed to do with judgment. Judgment begins to hurt us when we start to judge and use that gift, really, on others. Because in reality, we're not here to judge another. By all means, of course, we don't want to get hurt. But That's where I think your sense of perception, your being able to acknowledge others' actions and see what actions they are speaking is really, really important, because that gives you a huge sense of someone's true identity and character. And so that's what I would encourage you to do, is let judgments go for people and keep judgments in place for things. So judgment doesn't get to be used on people. Judgment does get to be used on things that are not people. And so use it that way. And then open your heart and open your mind to people, knowing that everybody is human and everybody is imperfect, and there's a chance that we're all still going to get a little hurt here and there. But if you look at somebody's actions, and if they are speaking and acting in love, then the idea of grace is a great way to implement things. If somebody is manipulative or speaking and acting in a way that is not in love, then that is something that you want to go ahead and use the sense of perception and go ahead and not judge them, but feel free to keep your distance, because that person is probably not for you. And no, we can't go around telling the whole universe, don't judge other people. Judgment isn't for humans, judgment is for things, because everybody, not everybody, but a good amount of those in this world are still going to judge. So it's something that I feel like if it fits your character, adopt the idea. If you're like, no, girl, you're crazy right now, then that's fine. But hear my idea, and maybe later down the road, it can be for you too. Because I used to be real judgy, especially with people. And I would keep people at bay. I would keep them really far away. Or I would use it in a way to try to protect myself, or, just really, it was a really quick judgment. Judgment isn't necessarily a long process. Judgment is, she is smiling at, so-and-so over there, so she must want to be friends with them. And so they're not going to want to be friends with me. And that may not be the case at all, right? But sometimes our brain goes there. And then we have to train our brain to think, you know what? Maybe the person is really a friendly person. And that is good, because friendly people pretty much love people. And that's awesome to be around people who are going to be kind. So make sure you're looking out and seeing those, watching their actions, allowing yourself to get a sense of who they are, and not necessarily coming to a quick judgment of what you think they're about. Because I do think that actions speak louder than words. And that's, maybe by default, maybe it is a fault of mine. I don't know, but I'm okay with, I am a person that wants to have actions speak louder than words. Because words are, a good intent, but the actions are the follow-up and the follow-through of the thought. And when the intent is carried out in an action, it then becomes proof. And that's what I love to see, is not just the word spoken by someone of what they intend, but the action to follow up the thought and the word of the intent, so that it becomes the evidence, the proof. You guys, I love you. I hope you heard my heart on this today. I tried to keep it light, not too deep, but fairly light. But those those ideas and those thoughts have been on my heart a lot lately. And maybe it's because of the holiday season. And I am feeling like, is it really Christmas time? And so I don't know if you're feeling that too. I would tend to think that others are if I am. My kids are having a hard time getting into the holiday spirit. And I just sit back and wonder, like, why are we feeling this way when it's been such a hard year, so much change? The one thing that I was really excited about was the holidays. And now that they're here, I'm not understanding exactly why I'm not in the holiday spirit. And I was talking to my husband about this. I'm like, you know, we're just not really feeling the holiday spirit, and I don't know why. And I want to help the kids be able to feel the holiday spirit too. And he just told me, he goes, Tria, look at what they're doing. And oftentimes my kids are choosing to watch off the things that they've been watching on television. So, not the holiday related shows that would give you the warm, fuzzy feeling. Where when I sit down and I have a chance to watch something, I usually am turning on the holiday stories of the Hallmark channel or the Netflix holiday movies. Whatever it is, I'm trying to find a little bit of the holidays there so that it starts to fill my heart. And so I'm trying to follow up with the action of what I intend to feel. And I'm trying to help my kids do the same, because if they want to have the feeling of the holidays, then we've got to be doing things that would lead to that. Things that we've done in the past that have given us the expected outcome. And so we are trying to do it again. I think we're just a little bit off our mojo because of how things have gone this year. And sometimes I feel off kilter still with timing and with like just doing things, where when everything was just kind of was consistent with school and scheduling and all of that, there wasn't the back and forth of our kids having activities this week. Oh no, the COVID level's too high. They're not. There's just not a ton of consistency like there was prior. And so I think that that's thrown me off a little bit, and the kids off a little bit too. But just know to keep trying. Later on this week, I'm going to share with you one of my favorite Christmas time books, and we always read it together as a family every Christmas. And I will share that with you this week because it might help bring the holiday spirit to your heart if you're having a difficult time finding that as well. And so we will implement that too, so that we can really start to inundate ourselves with the stories that have evidence of the actions of people who are giving and loving and really encompassing what it is we're seeking. And so thank you. I just want to tell you thank you. You're not alone. I know I'm not alone, but sometimes because we're so I don't know, we're just so sheltered at this time that we don't see each other a lot, or, we just see masks on people's faces, that sometimes it feels like we're carrying this alone. And I want you to know that you're not, that I too am seeking and working on bringing the things that I expect from this time of year and going into the new year. I'm working on implementing things so that my actions will then support the outcomes that I'm seeking. So you guys have a great week. I am totally here with you. I love you, and you've got this. Thank you for being here with me today. I hope that you have an amazing day and week. Until next time, sis, be sure to remember that you've got this. Also, go on and check out ygtsis.com. There you can find out what we're up to, podcasts, YouTube videos, and even the shop. Don't worry, it's a great place to be. It's a little bit of unwinding. It's a whole lot of real, and it's exactly what you need. Go check it out, ygtsis.com.